In the next few minutes, I'm going to be super real and transparent with you because when it comes to making money or having some sort of success or anything in life that is an accomplishment, most people think it's a hustle problem. They just need to put in more hours, wake up earlier, do more work, so on and so forth. And a lot of that is true. However, that is not the case that a majority of people watching this video aren't where they want to be yet. And I'll explain exactly what that reason is in the next few minutes. Now, I used to think the same exact thing, that all I needed to do was more work. I have been in business for probably 4 or 5 years now. And throughout those 5 years, it has only been the last year or two that I have seen real, genuine growth and accomplishments that I have achieved that I have been saying I will for the longest time. Now, some people understand this in 2 months, some people take a year to understand this, some people take decades before they learn this actual thing, but this is the key difference breaker in where you are now and where you want to be, and the one change that you need to actually get to where that thing is that you want to be at. So let me give you a little story time. I worked a few years ago a lot more than I work now. I used to stay up till 4 a.m. in the night, wake up at 6 a.m., get right back to work. I'm not even exaggerating, like I literally used to sleep 2 hours. And everyone has this grind phase where, you just really want something and you want to get to that outcome and you feel like you can do it and you get the excitement because you're trying something new, and all you do is you work and you sacrifice everything in your way, relationship with your family, with your friends, with a girlfriend you might have, whatever it is, you get everything out the way to achieve that outcome. But then you get to a point where you're sitting down with yourself and you ask yourself why? Like, why hasn't it hit yet? Why haven't I gotten to this goal? Why is all this work I'm putting in not being reciprocated? Why do I feel like after years or months or days of continuously trying, I am still stuck? But it's not like the effort and the work and the time and the dedication and the sacrifices weren't there. It was enough. And the answer that it took me years to find and now I study deeply on is, and I know this is gonna sound weird, but the version of me that was making a lot of money or making money or working so hard was a broke person at heart. And here's the key lesson of this video that I did not understand back then. You cannot outperform your self-belief. No matter how hard you try, it is literally not possible. Your brain will do everything in its power, and your brain has more power than you do being conscious in the moment to keep you reverted at the same exact spot that you think you are at and that you think you'll be. Your brain and your whole body will fight against you to keep you at your identity level every single time. So I could be doing all the right moves. I could be working 15 hours a day, hitting the gym, barely sleeping, and I could do that for a year on end, and I would still revert back to that original version of not getting results because that is the identity I have built. Now, to relate this to you guys, how many of the people out there, when you guys have tried, and really think about this because I promise you will relate to some aspect in your life, if it isn't the heaviest hitting thing right now, you do something or you want to do something and you put in time, effort, energy, so on and so forth, you do all this stuff to actually get into it, and you get to a certain point where you have some sort of accomplishment. Maybe you're trying to learn a sport, maybe you're trying to make money, maybe you're trying to do literally anything, get good at anything it is. You work, and then you find yourself waking up the next day and you're tired and you're burnt and your brain is just fucked up and you don't want to put in any more work, and all of a sudden all that discipline, motivation, energy, all that is just out the gutter. Like you feel like you're just like reverting back to where you were. And a week from now, after a week of laziness and complacency and not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you kind of end back in the same spot. Is that because you got lazy? Is that because you became complacent? Is that because maybe you weren't the most motivated person? You jump back on your feet? No, it's because you did not match your identity with the actions you were taking. And what happened was your body realized this. And the second your body realizes, it's like a virus. It attacks you and it brings you right back down to the level that your identity and self-concept is at. That's what nobody talks about when it comes to being successful. Everyone is so focused on the tactics, like the tactics of the strategy that I have to do and what I have to put in and whatever. But these are outputs. These are outputs of a layer that's behind, which is work that happens within you first, which is rewiring what that identity is in the first place. The real variable is who you genuinely think you are. And at first this was just a concept to me, but now I can confidently say that after working with hundreds and thousands of people and business owners and coaches and people in the social media space and people in success in life in general, people that have made it to a place where I want to be at, this pattern has failed to break. Every single person I've met that is in a place or has something that I want to attain or has some sort of success has realized this, and this remains true for them. Their self-concept is stronger than their actions. Because the people that become successful aren't the ones with the best skills. In fact, you guys probably know a bunch of people that are more successful than you right now that are complete idiots. They're just stupid. The people that are successful are ones that already think they are before they become it. And then reality just takes a little bit of lag and eventually catches up to that, but they're already expecting it. So let me tell you what actually made the difference for me. Around the time things actually started to move for me, and I mean going from a person who was broke and had no money and was trying his best and putting in hours every day to actually coming to a point where now I'm successful. I have a business that runs on its own and I'm kind of getting to live all these experiences that I've always wanted to my whole life. The shift wasn't what I was doing or the inputs I was putting in. In fact, I was putting in less. The shift was who I thought of myself. I had to sit down and self-reflect for probably days and months on end in terms of why I am the way I am. What do I genuinely think about myself? Because at surface layer, I might sit there and be like, okay, I'm someone that's successful. I'm someone that does things. I have a business, but deep down, I didn't have faith in myself. I didn't know if I was going to make it. I was hesitant. It wasn't 100% a belief. I didn't think I was the most hardworking guy. I didn't think I was the most successful or smartest guy in the room. And all of that might be true. But at the end of the day, if you want to be someone who's going to be smart and successful, you have to start believing that you already are that person. So instead of being the person that was building something, I became the person who built something. And me being the person who already built it allowed me to actually build it. As crazy as that sounds. And it's not delusion. It's not like what people say, fake it till you make it, whatever. It's genuinely understanding that psychologically your brain operates on identity before it operates on action and logic. When you begin to see yourself as the person of you in the future that has already gotten everything that you want to accomplish, everything changes from your behavior to your actions to how you interpret certain situations to the things you do in life to your mannerism to the way you speak to the way you like to dress to the way you like to talk. Literally everything about your life changes because you are changing personas. You are forgetting everything that you know currently and you're replacing that identity with something completely new. And that new identity is a version of you that is successful and rich and made it and gotten everything they've wanted. And I'll give you an example to prove this. If I lost everything I have today and I woke up tomorrow and I wanted to become a millionaire and I was dead broke, the first thing I would do is make myself and convince myself that I'm a millionaire. I would sit there in my head and I would tell myself I'm a millionaire and I would start taking the actions of a millionaire. Now, what does a millionaire do? He wakes up early in the morning, he has discipline, he takes care of his health, he goes to the gym, he puts in work, he makes strategic decisions, he thinks before he speaks, he dresses well, he presents himself well to the world, he's very respectable. And even if I was this broke guy that literally had nothing to his name, I would begin to adopt some of those habits with time, meaning I would begin to be more presentable. I'd begin to work harder. I'd begin to build these habits. And rather than me sitting there and waking up and being like, oh, I gotta work, push, because I gotta get to this goal, whatever, I wouldn't work because I need to work to achieve X outcome. I would work because that's just someone who's successful in life. Like they work because that's who they are. Like it's engraved into them. The work is there for them. And there's a very, very big difference between me waking up and saying, oh shit, I have to work because I have to make money one day and whatever, and me waking up and saying, I'm gonna work because that's who I am as a person. I'm someone who wakes up and I give it my all every single day. Because on one end, you're forcing yourself to go out of someone you're not. You're pushing yourself. And like I said earlier, all that is going to revert right back to where you are or where your belief is. On the other end, I'm just doing the actions that a successful person would already do because I believe I'm that successful person. So now in my head, rather than me sitting there and me acting like I'm doing something external or forcing myself to be out of my comfort zone or forcing myself to have all this sheer discipline, I literally just become that person. Work doesn't feel like I'm pushing. Work feels like normal life. This is what it's supposed to be. This is my life. This is what successful people do. This is what I'm going to do because I'm successful. When you operate that way, when you make decisions that way, you'll see the entirety of your life change. When opportunities would come in that the broke version of me would sit there and neglect, I would see it as an opportunity to actually grow a business. I would feel certain emotions or things that would make me angry and I looked at and laughed at and realized that this was all made for me. That bad things that happened started happening for me rather than to me. And I was able to change my whole perspective. And when I say you have to kind of erase everything, I really mean it. Like you really, like from the moment you're a kid, you have all these beliefs and experiences that you go through that shapes this pattern in your head. You're conditioned by your environment. You're conditioned by the people who aren't successful around you. Like no one when they're born is, or maybe you are, but the majority of people when they're born aren't surrounded by 500 millionaires. Not every person you interact with is a millionaire. So everyone you interact and all these behaviors in this environment you live in and everything you learn throughout your life is engraved by people to keep you in a cage, Meaning if your whole environment is things that are going to hold you back from being successful because it's created by other people that aren't successful, that then becomes your normal. That's what you feel like life is supposed to be because that's what feels comfortable because that's what you've been surrounded by. However, when you detach from that and you completely erase that entire way of thinking, like I said, you erase that whole identity and you kind of clean the slate, you're able to look at new experiences and you can dissect the information you want. And if you dissect the information through the lens of the person that you want to be, you will be able to rebuild all that learning back and have a whole new identity with new perspectives and new emotions and a new behavior and mannerism to act on that will actually get you to the point where you want to be. A lot of people like to change their life from the outside in. They give themselves a new routine or a new habit they're going to make or a new strategy they're going to use, whatever. But that's not how real growth works. Real growth works inside out, not outside in. Imagine the analogy of just like you being one big fire. Like that's what you are right now. If you're a mess, if you're not where you want to be, we'll take the extreme end and you're just saying we're one big fire, you're just a flame. If I bring anything like a new habit or I bring the gym in or whatever I walk into, I'm just going to burn it to the ground. Why? Because I am fire. Like I'm just a big ball of fire that's burning and destroying everything in my sight. Meaning I could have all the external outside factors come in and it would just mean I destroy them, I burn them, and now they're gone, and I have to keep bringing more in. But at the end of the day, I'm always just going to remain a fire, and the fire is only going to get bigger, meaning I'm going to get worse. But instead, if I'm not a fire internally, if I'm someone who's a solid stone foundation and I have that already there, everything I bring in will stack on top of each other. And now everything I bring in from the external is going to pile up, and I'm going to have this beautiful structure on this strong stone actual foundation that's going to hold for life. So until you change the story and the identity underneath, nothing really is going to stick in your life. You'll make progress, you'll self-sabotage, you'll repeat the cycle, and you'll do it over and over again until you either give up or you realize that this is the right way to go. Now, I hope everyone understands this. I'm going to explain 3 things that you can do to begin changing this in terms of literal context. Number 1 being repetition, talking to yourself differently, acknowledging things differently, and doing that on a repetitive scale. At first, you're going to have to force it. It's not like you're going to snap your fingers and now all of a sudden you're this whole new person who thinks completely different. It takes time. Watch your words. Your words are so important. I see so many people just talk negative about themselves and they might not even realize, like, it could be as simple as saying, if I do this. If I do this tells your subconscious brain that there's a chance that you don't do it. You put a chance of failure inside your brain. And that's why I never use the word if, I use the word when. So if I say, if I become successful, that's wrong because I just gave myself an opportunity to not become successful. Instead, I say when I become successful, when I make $1 million, when I buy a Lambo, when I buy my parents a house, because all this stuff is bound to happen because that's in my identity. It's not an if. It's not like, okay, maybe one day it will come or fingers crossed one day it comes. It's going to come. So when it comes. And a simple change like that on a larger scale will already change the way you begin to think. Because rather than me looking at a situation and saying, fuck this is horrible for me, I could say, oh, this is great. I'm so grateful this happened to me. What can I learn from this? I'm so great God removed that person from my life. I'm so grateful that I didn't have the best workout today because it teaches me that I need to better my eating habits so I can have a better workout tomorrow. I'm so grateful that I didn't sleep well tonight because it shows how much I really care about this business and how I should do more today so I don't feel that anxiety and I can actually go to sleep tonight. All of these little tweaks will revamp your entire thinking over time. Again, it is exponential. It's not something that happens overnight, but the more you do it over and over again with that repetition, it will build up for you. The next thing is environment. And this is a tough pill to swallow, but you will have to get rid of the things that are in your life that are not going to help you get to your end goal, whether it's people, whether it's places you're surrounded by, whether it's energy from certain people that you get, or whether it's even energy that you self-inflict onto yourself, like lazy habits, not having your bed made, whatever it is. Your environment shapes you as a person. You need to cut out all of the noise that there is, whether it be friends that don't believe in you, or your parents not believing in you, or you even having a doubt in the back of your mind that like this isn't going to work, or you being lazy and like maybe not doing your laundry one week, whatever it is. All these little factors add up and shape your environment as a whole. So the only way you can start changing is by doing the little things one at a time. If you wake up and do 10 push-ups every day, don't wake up one day and say, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't feel like it. I feel tired today. I feel like I didn't get good sleep. You do it anyway. Why? Because it's something that's engraved into you. It's something that you have to do for the person that you are. It's something that the person that you want to be does, and you will become that person that you want to be, and you already believe that you are that person. So you have to do it no matter how you feel. So anything bad in your environment, I cannot stress this enough, literally anything in your environment, even if it's a fucking box in the corner of your room that you don't like to see, get rid of it. Make your environment as clean and as programmed for success because that is where you are spending all your time and energy. And the last thing is evidence. The last 2 things we talk about need to be reinforced because I could have all the beliefs in the world and I could have the nicest environment, but if I don't have anything to show for it, then all of that stuff is going to end up crumbling. So you need to stack up small wins. I'm not saying go out there, make $1 million, but if you made $1 if you made $1 more than usual today, that's a win. That's evidence that you're getting better. If you did 10 push-ups yesterday, you did 11 today, that's evidence that you're getting better. If you went to the gym 5 days this week instead of 4, that's evidence that you're getting better. If you spoke a little better, if you stuttered 1 time less in the entire day, that's evidence of you getting better. So consciously analyze the fact that these little wins are happening and you are getting better, and they will come if you act like this. I promise you they'll be there. You just need to become conscious enough to realize, okay, that win happened, and layer that win on top of those beliefs to prove it, to reinforce it, to tell yourself, oh, look, it's working. Oh, look, what I said and what I've been doing is paying off because here's a small win. Here's 1 more push-up I did. Here's me doing 1 more hour of work than I usually do. All of it is working. And when you reinforce those actual beliefs with actual proof, now they become even more engraved. And what do you think that's going to do? Make you have even more wins. I've watched this work over and over and over and over and over again. I cannot stress it enough. In my life, in my clients' life, in random people's lives, and people that I met that are already successful lives, and friends and family, whatever the circumstances, this is universal. This applies to everyone. So the question isn't who am I trying to be or who do I want to be someday? It's who am I right now? Who am I choosing to be? What actions am I taking? What am I believing? What is my perspective on the world and things that happen in it? Who am I deciding that I am today and in this current moment? Who am I? Because that decision, that identity shift is the entire game. Everything else is just the expression of it.